Hello, everyone. Welcome to the No Life Digital Tech Gaming Culture Show. We got a jam-packed show for you today. Doom audio engineers have been in somewhat of a dispute, and it's an interesting timeline of events that we're gonna jump into. Nintendo's getting hacked left and right. We're gonna discuss the leak of the Wii source code. We're looking at some other news in gaming, and we're going to talk about the new NVIDIA RTX 3060 beating, possibly, the 2080 Ti. Welcome to No Life Digital Podcast. Let me make sure that we're definitely streaming, because I set things up a little bit differently these days. What's up, Doobie? How you been?
All right.
Welcome to... Hanging in there? Sorry, hanging in there?
Yeah, it's my last week of awful getting up at 5:30 in the morning. I go back to my regular work schedule next week. So,
ooh, what time is that?
On one hand, like, I don't have my afternoons free, like from 1 o'clock anymore. But I'd rather take the free 2 hours of sleep and work till 5 o'clock. At this point.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Getting up at 5:30 sucks.
Yeah. No, I did it when I worked at Lowe's. We would have to be in by 5:30, so I'd have to leave at like 5, get ready at like 4:30. And It's nice being out by like 1. I didn't mind that aspect too much. But yeah, waking up that early, it was rough, bro.
And you realize going to bed at 10:30 still would not be a full 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah, you need to be in bed by like 8 o'clock.
It's like, nah, I'm good. If I can go to bed at 1 in the morning and still somehow gets like almost 7 hours of sleep, I'll take that.
No. This shit sucks, man. But at least you don't have to do that no more.
Yeah, just gotta get through this week.
Yeah, one last week and you'll be good. Where's Jerry go? Did Jerry dip out for a second? What, his computer crash or something? Oh, no, there he is.
I'll have here. What's up?
What's up, homie? What you been up to? Anything new?
Not much. Still just working and playing.
You guys playing anything new? Same old
No.
shit?
Yeah.
I've been playing Yakuza Kiwami, which is on Game Pass, dude. So I was playing Yakuza 0, I believe. Let me double check. Because there was one version on PC that I was playing. I think Yakuza 0 on PC, on Steam. Yes, I was playing that. And what version of Yakuza is that? That's the prequel to Yakuza.
So, I'll just give you the rundown. Yakuza 1 and 2 came out on PS2. They did not age well. They're dubbed, and their dub is almost entirely bad, with the exception of Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill is in that game?
Mark Hamill is Mijima, Goro Mijima.
No, he's not. No way.
In the original PS2 games, he is.
What?
And he's like the only good spot of those. And then they made Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 on PS3. And then they made Yakuza 6 on PS4. Yakuza 6 had a new engine, had the thing was the Dragon engine, which is what they used to make Yakuza 0, Kiwami 1, and Kiwami 2. Kiwami 1 and 2 were remakes, like updated everything, built for, built in the new engine.
Mm-hmm.
And Yakuza 2 has a additional side story with Mijima to cover up his loose ends from 0.
Right.
So 0 came out after 6 had already come out. So like the 1 through 6 had been established when they made 0. That's why 0 is actually like the longest Yakuza game. It's really long.
Right.
Kiwami 1 and 2 were fantastic. I want to play 3, 4, and 5 now that they're on PS4 because they made that collection. And then I want to play Yakuza 6. And then recently Yakuza 7, which is the one that took on the RPG elements. And Kiryu is not actually the main character in that one. That one just got Steam ID'd. So it might be it's coming to Steam apparently.
Yeah.
So,
I've been into I was playing Yakuza 0, which is the prequel, and then I got Yakuza Kiwami on Game Pass, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And in my opinion, I'm liking Yakuza Kiwami more than I'm liking Yakuza 0, because I think it's just the story, at least in Kiwami, I guess because it's the first Yakuza, it seems as if the story is more, it just makes more sense.
Yeah, you see, it's hard to say. It's hard because like now as like new players into the Yakuza, it's like, oh, we'll play 0 because it's like the first game. But a lot of people had already played the Yakuza games, so this was like, oh, it's Goro Majima before he's batshit insane.
Yeah.
So it's like a much different Majima, and then it's just a really, it's because you're essentially you have two Yakuza games going on at the same time between the two characters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like two storylines that are full game length storylines in one game. It's just, it can get really long.
Yeah, and it's all over the place, and it's, to me, it's not the best introduction to Yakuza. I mean, it's a great game.
It's a good game to go back to after playing the first two games.
Yeah, I can see why they released it later. You know?
And then playing the side stuff in Kiwami 2 after you play 0 to get the ending of Goro Majima's storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm playing through Yakuza Kiwami now, and man, it's just it's so underrated. Everyone needs to play Yakuza. It's so fucking good.
I don't want to say it's my Witcher 3 because like I don't think it's the greatest game of all time, but it's the game that like I've had a few friends play it, and then I played it when I was on a PS4, like when it was the free game on PS4 for like the PS Plus game of the month.
Yeah.
And dude, playing that game was like, all right, I'm in. This series is so good.
It's so fucking good. And I'm mad that more people don't realize it, because it's so stupid, but it's so good at the same time. Like, it's so in-depth. The fighting, the combat is so stupid but fun. And the storyline, I mean, I love the story. I'm so much more into the story of Kiwami than I am into 0. And I think it's because, like I said, it just makes more sense in terms of like where you're going and who the different rivaling factions, the fight for the families, and the characters. It's just set up better to introduce you to that world. But I can't wait to beat this one and then go back to 0.
Super over the top.
Oh, it's absolutely nuts.
It's like if you like action movies and you like brawling games, like brawlers, you'll love this game.
Yeah, it's just pure unadulterated
and then the humor,
fun.
The side story humor is just really Japanese, to say it like that. But like, it's just some of this weird senses of humor. Whether and a lot of it, like, because it takes place in a different time, so like cell phones aren't the big thing yet. Especially when you play 0, but there's different like cultural things that are just really weird and really interesting.
Yeah, if you are nostalgic for like the 90s and like Japanese culture in the 90s, it taps into that, especially at least in Kiwami, because I'm gonna give a little spoiler, but it's really the first part of the game. But you go to prison, and then you come out 10 years later, and it's like early 2000s, and like just the difference between the 90s and the early 2000s, and the way that he kind of introduces himself back into the culture, it's just so fucking good, dude. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near Witcher 3. I think you're absolutely insane for even bringing up that name next to Yakuza. But
I didn't mean like that. I mean, it's the game that I tell people they need to play.
I know. I'm gonna have to do so as well, because the series is just so fucking good. And I'm talking like good. You're gonna enjoy it. I can't imagine anyone playing it and not enjoying it. It's just
that's why
good.
I'm super interested in the new one, since it's an RPG. It's not a brawler anymore, but it still has like the charm of Yakuza. And from what I hear, it plays really well.
So what's it called?
The new one is Yakuza 7, I think, Like a Dragon or something like that.
And that's coming out.
It's out in Japan. I don't think we have a release date yet for the West, but given the popularity that Yakuza is having recently,
Sega
will definitely bring it over and localize it.
Yeah, I hope so.
because they did Judgment and they brought Judgment over, which also suggests that you play if you like Yakuza, because it's the same. It's got the same brawling combat, but it's a different set of characters, still set in that town in Kamurocho. So you'll still see the batting cages. You'll still see like all of the same locations that you're used to. And then it's like Yakuza meets Ace Attorney.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. Which is pretty interesting.
So I suggest that if you liked Yakuza, when that game goes on sale or if it ever comes to Steam, I would pick that up.
Yeah. Yeah, it runs well on the Xbox Game Pass for PC. Or at least on my PC, it runs really well. No issues there. I'm just so excited to finish it. Like, it's just, the stories are so funny. So fucking good. It says here, this is from IGN. This is actually released. This was released a couple days ago. Or no, it was released today or updated today. A Western release for Yakuza Like a Dragon, known as Ryuga Gotoku 7 in Japan, has been teased by a Steam database listing. Especially interesting given that we haven't heard much from Sega recently about the Western release of Like a Dragon, which launched in Japan on the 16th of January. So it is coming. We are going to see it soon. We just don't know exactly when. So that's exciting.
Also, do the karaoke side missions. Just do them. They're so silly.
I'm going to do all of it.
Almost like the music video style is so good.
Yeah, I'm going to do all of it. I'm loving it.
Got to be that cabaret club host.
And I can't wait to go back to Zero and go through Zero, because now things are starting to make sense that they don't really talk about in Zero.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest that people play Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, 0, and then 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. So real quick, dude, Game Pass has been so legit, man. I've been digging Xbox Game Pass. Let me just bring up the library so far, because so many games I've been playing. Oh yeah, it's another game I've been playing that is new. So many games I've been playing, I've just been getting them on Games Pass. I just click install, it goes right in, and I just start playing it. It takes away that sort of discovering games thing, just because it's like, here's a library of games that you have, basically, and you can play through them. So Gears Tactics, I've been playing through Gears Tactics. That's been a fucking blast. I'm actually very surprised at how good Gears Tactics is. Is it as in-depth and as extensive as XCOM? No. There's no, like, base building. There's no real, like, deep recruiting. But you can recruit. You can upgrade your character with different weapons and different modifications to your guns and different armor slots and stuff like that. So it has, like, that light RPG element. But what I like more about it compared to XCOM is that you're in the Gears world, so everything's a little bit more brutal. The attacks feel more fun. The AI is still just as good as XCOM's AI. It is a challenging game. It's just, if you like XCOM, I don't see why Gears Tactics isn't something that you'll enjoy, especially if you have Games Pass. It's just a quick install, and you have another, basically, XCOM expansion. I haven't been through. I'm probably about halfway through it now, and yeah, dude, it's just such a fucking blast. It's an excellent little tactics game. I wish that it did have some base building elements in it, because that's what I like about XCOM. There's no like research or anything that you can get into. It's just, here's your people. You can recruit some new people that come along, even though the recruiting is kind of broken right now. And then you just level up your characters and try to do some tactics missions. Some things are a little unbalanced, like snipers are a little unbalanced, and things can get kind of easy when you have like the right kind of sniper builds. But overall, man, I do recommend Gears Tactics so far. Only if you have Games Pass. I don't know if I'd spend $60 on it. We were talking after the show last week that the disparity between the reviews on Steam for people who paid $60 and the reviews on Games Pass are completely different. So someone's got like a 5-star on Games Pass, and on Steam it's like I think it's just like down the middle. So I thought that was pretty interesting, because Games Pass does take away that sort of financial bias that you kind of have when you get into when you purchase a game, and it is going to change the reviews. I mean, I think I would review this differently if it was $60. Maybe I'd be more hard on it, or maybe I'd be more sour to it.
You'll be harder on it.
Yeah, but because it was
So,
essentially $15 for the price of Game Pass, or however much a month that is, I love it. I think it's awesome. You know what I mean? I think it's a great game. It's fun, and I think any XCOM fan would enjoy it. So that's kind of an interesting thing to bring up, you know?
I would say if you are gonna buy it too, check for it on like the Microsoft Store, because that's what a lot of the bad reviews were too. Was Steam and Microsoft
integration.
Xbox Live integration having major problems?
Yeah, I had one glitch. I had one like almost game-breaking glitch in my playtime so far. Essentially, I couldn't switch between characters in a boss battle where the main objective is that you need to switch between characters. I was able to get through it, luckily, and I haven't seen a glitch since, but that was one big glitch that I saw. And I know there's a bunch of other glitches that some people are running into, but I mean, other than that, performance-wise, it's been running great. And like I said, I do recommend it if you have Games Pass. I don't know. I have to beat it before I can say that about a $60 release. I don't know if there's enough there to say, like, this is a great game as a $60 game. But maybe either get it on Games Pass if you have it or wait for it to be on sale. Because it is somewhat of like an XCOM light. It's just not as intense and as in-depth as XCOM is. But it is certainly a great tactics game and a whole lot of fun. I've also been playing Streets of Rage 4, which is on Games Pass. I've been playing through the Forza series on Games Pass because I get my little racing wheel out, vroom, vroom, and get the Forza going, and that's been great. Surge 2 is on Games Pass. If you haven't played Surge 2, I fucking love that game. That's where I got Yakuza Kiwami. There's a ton of great titles. You have... oh, wait, is there 2 Yakuzas on there? Hold on a second. Do they have Kiwami 2 on here? I don't think so, unless I'm seeing things. No, they don't. Okay. Yeah, Forza Horizon. There's a few other games. Yeah, Scourgebringer. There's a bunch of indie titles that you can get on Games Pass. So far, it's been really. I've gotten my money's worth so far. Even if it's just Gears and Forza, I've already kind of got my money's worth out of it. And then all the other stuff on top of it is just the icing on the cake, you know. There's so many. I mean, you have Slay the Spire on here. You have Absolver, which is pretty fun. There's a lot of good stuff on Games Pass. I'm super excited to see where Games Pass is in terms of Microsoft's future. The game I was talking about was I believe Gears Tactics. That's the one that you're asking about. But I am curious to see where we go in the future with Microsoft's Game Pass. Even if you get 1 or 2 good games that you love off of Games Pass, that's enough to kind of pay for itself. And it's just going to be interesting when they add more to it, and when this next gen platform comes out and we have new releases, new big AAA releases, $60 titles coming out on Games Pass. It's going to be hard to ignore for anyone that enjoys these Xbox and Microsoft games. So good stuff, Microsoft. This is exactly what you need to really kind of position yourself for a good future when you're up against Sony, who's got amazing exclusive titles. You offer a service like this, that's pretty good, especially if you're someone who has a PC, right? A lot of these games, they're not very difficult to run. If you have a PC, you essentially have you essentially are introduced to the Xbox lineup, which is pretty cool. So I've been digging it. I'll keep you guys updated on exactly where this goes. But yeah, Gears Tactics, Yakuza Kiwami, and I've been playing through Hollow Knight as well. Going through Hollow Knight. I don't know if you guys have ever played Hollow Knight, but by God, that is a great indie title.
Hollow Knight it's one of my favorite indie games. I remember when I finally got around to playing it, I was on a vacation. I couldn't put it down the entire week. I had all the DLC, but I didn't look for it, so there's just a bunch of stuff I didn't do in that game. But the new one coming out, Silk Song, which is the new game, but you play as Hornet. I'm looking really forward to that.
Oh, you get to play as Hornet?
Yeah, it's a prequel, so it's kind of her story.
Oh, shit.
From before Hollow Knight.
I didn't even know this was a thing. When is this getting released? Do you know?
No idea.
It will be on Nintendo Switch and Steam, which is very nice to see. And
it plays really well on Switch. It really does.
Yeah, that's where I'm playing it. It's excellent. It's a fucking great indie title. I mean, it's challenging. When I first got it, the only thing that I didn't like about it when I first got it was that it's a little slow. Like, you just don't have much shit in the beginning.
It's like any other Metroidvania. You gotta, you know, it starts off really slow, and then as you get the abilities, as you get your equipment, But man, it's almost, and this also kind of, I hate throwing the Dark Souls comparison out there, but it's a little bit like Dark Souls in that, like,
It is.
there's really no hints. Like, if you're lost,
Oh, you're fucked.
you're kind of lost.
Yeah, you're fucked. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm trying to figure out where the fuck to go because I'm just like, where do? But that's what I like
You
about
get the
it.
power up, and then you're like, all right, okay, so I know that this
Yeah.
power up lets me get to this area, but what other areas were like that?
Yeah,
Now I got to go through the whole map again.
and it is like Dark Souls in that you have these bonfire stations where you rest. If you die, you go back to that bonfire, and
The dream fights are some of the hardest fights too.
oh, it's so challenging, man. It's such a challenging game. I'm right now in the Coliseum. That's been what I've been doing.
The Coliseum, the last fight in the Coliseum, aka the Gauntlet of it's so long that like I've seen players get 15 minutes in, like get to like the 8th wave and go, how far in am I? And I'm just like, you're about halfway.
So it's like an hour fight.
It's just wave after wave after wave.
Yeah, I'm on the second one right now.
The last one is it's I think I don't know how long I spent, but like I think I actually gave up on it. I don't even think I beat it.
I love it, dude. It's fucking a great indie title. It is tough, but
And there are multiple endings, I will tell you that.
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love what they do with the pins. Like you have to buy pins so you can mark your map. I mean, even on the map, it doesn't tell you where you are on the map, which is I thought was genius. Unless you have a thing like a crest that does that for you, which I always wear.
The crest system is also really well done, and
Yeah.
like by the end of the game, I had like my go-to crest, but there was like I had a loadout for when I was exploring and a loadout for when I was fighting a boss.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of
That's
what
the
I
only
have
thing
now.
I wish the quality of life was like if I could set predetermined crest loadouts.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be a really neat addition if they do it.
Yeah, they should
It's just
do it.
like, all right, let me have one that can quick select for when I'm exploring or quick select for when I'm fighting bosses.
Yeah. I do kind of wish that you didn't have to rest to switch your crests out. I wish you can kind of. I mean, it's not gonna hurt the game in any way. It's just you gotta I guess be ready.
It's like if I had to nitpick, that's what I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, same. It's a fucking great indie title. I highly recommend it. I've been loving that game. Is it as good? All right, let me say. Is it as good as Dead Cells? You guys know I'm all about Dead Cells. I would say not quite, as it doesn't quite have that same addictive loop that Dead Cells have. But if you're looking for a better story-driven Metroidvania type game, it is better in that sense. Almost, and platformer as well. And in that sense, it's much better. But in terms of like addictiveness and just overall fun, I do like Dead Cells better. So if you're
Yeah, like,
looking
if
for
I-
something, Hollow Knight is amazing.
If I had to make my list of indie game like the top ones, if I was going for like, all right, what am I looking for in the essence of like Mega Man? Shovel Knight.
Yep.
If I'm looking for the essence of like an Earthbound RPG, it's Undertale.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
Should I play? I haven't played Undertale. Is that the next one I should play?
Undertale, I don't want to say it's overrated. Its fan base overhypes it. It's still a good game.
Okay. I know it's on Games Pass, so I might as well just get it, right?
Yeah, if it's on Games Pass, definitely. And then like, if I'm doing Metroidvania, I would put Hollow Knight at the top, but I do want to still check out Bloodstained.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't played
If you're-
Bloodstained?
and if- Not yet. I played the one so if you're looking for something that like resembles early Castlevania, like Castlevania 4, or even earlier than that, like the original Castlevania games, the Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, I think it's called. The one that's more like Symphony of the Night is what, Ritual of the Night or something
Guess
like
what?
that?
Bloodstained's on Games Pass. I'm halfway through it. It's great.
And they're adding a randomizer mode too.
I will say Bloodstained is a little clunky. That's the one thing I don't like about it. It's just a little it's very Castlevania-like. Like there's no floatiness, there's no momentum. It's just like jump, move, jump. You know what I mean? Like very blocky.
Is
in
that
its
the 8-bit
movements.
one? Or is that the new
No,
one?
the newer one. Yeah.
Okay.
The newer one. But it is great. I mean, I love the loot. Like I love getting all the loot and finding all the things. It's tough too. It is a tough game. Yeah, so that's on Games Pass. There's so many great indies on Games Pass. My Friend Pedro, if you haven't played that, it's another great indie title, which is like a fun sort of shooter, almost in the style of Katana Zero, but more of like a shooter style.
I say, is Katana Zero on Game Pass?
Let me double check.
I would hope so.
I don't think so, but let me double
They
check.
should. It's a good game.
Yeah. I wish it was longer, dude. It's so good. It's so fucking good. I
I'm
just wish
still
it was
waiting
longer.
for the eventual DLC that they said they're doing.
Yeah, that's the problem with Devolver games. That's a Devolver game, right?
It's Devolver published.
It's not
but,
on
like,
Games Pass.
It's ASCII Soft, I think, is the developer, and it's like one guy.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. A lot of these Devolver games, it seems as if they kind of come and they go. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the Hotline series was like that. You got these little self-contained games, and then on to the next one. Katana Zero was kind of like that.
It's kind of how indie games are.
Yeah, well, Shovel Knight gets tons of DLC. Dead Cells gets tons of DLC.
Yeah, though I mean, it depends on because that's the thing with like Devolver Digital is a lot of their games that they publish. Is the thing is they're publishing. They're very small studios.
Yeah.
Team like it's not like a Team Cherry.
Yeah.
Or because those are the guys I think.
I'll support
who did, like,
Devolver and everything they do. Every game that they've released has been
Yacht Club.
great.
Yacht Club Games is Shovel Knight. They're a pretty. I don't want to say they're not a large team, but by indie standards, when you're talking about like a team of 2 or 3 people, they're bigger than that.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to do it when you you look at like oh my god, when you look at Super Meat Boy and it was just the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like Edward McMillan and I can't remember the other guy's name. Like, it's still a testament to how good that game is, but how much work they put in just the 2 of them.
No, you have to be insane. You have to be insane to do that. It's too much. All right. Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of indie titles, which has been. Is Yakuza an indie title? I mean, it's published by Sega. Is it developed by Sega?
No, it's developed by what's the same name like
I
the
guess
Ryu
it is.
Gakuten.
It is a gigantic game, so I guess it's
But
not.
Sega definitely like
Yeah, they put resources
helps them out a lot.
Yeah, I mean the game is gigantic. All right, let's get into some news. Okay, so do you guys know what happened with the Doom music, the whole Doom music thing?
I read the entire post. I knew about the stuff from before, where Mick was kind of just ranting on Twitter and was pretty much saying that like I'll probably never work with ID again.
Yeah.
And then he was like, a lot of the fans were like, okay, so from what I understand, the breakdown is that the OST was supposed to come out with the digital or with the collector's edition of the game. Mick essentially said, hey, I need more time to work on this. I need like an additional 4 to 6. I think he said 4 weeks at first, and then 4 weeks came, and he was like, I need another 2.
Well, they said 4 weeks, and they gave him 6 weeks. They were like, we'll just give you an extra 2 weeks.
And ID was just like, okay, we've given you enough time. I mean, on one hand, he's contractually obligated.
Right.
He signed the contract.
Yeah.
And he only did 12 tracks of the 50 something or 60 something.
Yeah.
And you can tell that the fans who listen, who know his work, listen, and they could tell what songs were and were not mixed by him.
Yeah.
Because you can tell by the balance issues. You can tell by all this other stuff.
And
a lot of people kind of came to his defense and were mad at ID for this. Like,
yeah,
you need to let him compose the album. But on the other hand, like, ID put that giant post on Reddit out, the open letter, and if you read it, like they never once insulted Mick. They hope that he wins awards for this because they said his work is great. But going into the future, the fact that he was not able to uphold his contractual obligations, the fact that he
shit the bed
repeatedly, yeah, he messed up.
Yeah,
like, that's on him. I want to see what his response is. But because there's always 2 sides to a story.
Yeah.
But like a lot of the people who jumped to trash ID really quickly kind of look like idiots.
Yeah.
You can't jump to conclusions like that.
Yeah, he hasn't made a response yet to their response.
It's unfortunate because the Doom like Mick Gordon and Doom right now feels very tied.
Yeah, and
so it's gonna be interesting to hear what the DLC sound like. The DLC music sounds like because you're gonna be able to tell the difference.
I was just very shocked to see them. I was shocked to see how many people were jumping to his side without any explanation from id, because id, at least in terms of Doom, have been very they've been great in their development transparency and telling people how they like to develop and what's going on with their company and where the game is at. And they were kind of just like, wow, Doom fucked up. We hate Doom Eternal, blah, blah, blah. And then you see this, and then they release, and they're like, look, we gave him enough time to release this stuff. He ended up sending us like 9 tracks, it says, that were like ambient tracks that were nothing like this. We told him that this wasn't up to the combat standards that we were expecting. So then I had to go back. They had to bring in one of their other guys to help kind of put all these tracks together. And there was just a lot of just miscommunication between the two.
You don't want the classic Bethesda situation of like a Fallout 76 of here's your duffel bag, but it's not made of the same material we promised. So you're saying you have the OST for this. We promised an OST for this compilation for this collector's edition. We have to provide that.
Yeah.
Like if we don't provide that, we've broken consumer laws.
Yeah, so he shits the bed and then comes out and makes it seem as if they were at fault. And I thought that was kind of interesting too. He's like, yeah, we're probably never going to work again together. I only mixed 12 of the 56 tracks. It's just like, you only did 12.
I don't like, I mean, apparently he was concerned that they were going to give co-composer rights to somebody. And they said, we're not doing that. You are the sole composer. We put him in there as a contributing artist, but that's not the same as co-composer.
Yeah.
And then like it's one of those things too where it's like, I don't know, artists is his mental health okay? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Is he going through something and this is just like,
you would expect
artists, you never know.
Maybe he expected them not to say anything, and then he was like, maybe I can get away with just kind of fibbing
I'm Mick
a little
Gordon,
bit.
fuck it.
Yeah. But it was nice to see that Marty comes back out with of course Marty's going to come out and say like, this is what happened. Don't fucking try to put this blame on us. If they were at fault, I would almost expect them to say, yeah, we fucked up. Sorry. But that's not the case. The simple fact of the matter is that there was a lot of miscommunication. Mick just shit the bed on these tracks, wasn't able to get the work done in the time allotted. They gave him plenty of time. He was able to complete this stuff, the scope of work in the previous title, so it would be expected to do the same here. But what are you gonna do? At least they're working it out.
It's a shame. I mean, that's the thing is like the DLC. I'm really interested now in seeing what the soundtrack is going to sound like for the DLC, and then going into the future when they make a third game, because the game was successful enough that they're going to make another one.
Yeah,
and I hope they do make another one, because we're apparently at such a loss of any good news because of coronavirus that we're sitting here having a half-hour discussion over an OST drama.
That's it, man. That's it. All right. By the way,
that's what's got gamers riled up these days. It's not Valorant anymore. That's already done. So now we got OST, dude.
I was actually surprised at the amount of people.
They banned the 24/7 streams.
Oh, they did?
I saw that. They apparently people that were just doing 24/7 streams and leaving their stream up, Twitch went and banned them.
Oh, okay. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. Get your margaritas. I'll have a little drink with you. Yeah, so I was very surprised to see the amount of people that gave a shit about the OST. I know Doobie likes all that stuff. He jams out to the fucking.
That's dude. The sound, like the way you want to get me to speed when I'm driving. Put on either the Doom or the Doom Eternal OST. Throw on the BFG division. Throw on.
There's a huge.
The only thing they fear is you. And I will freaking rock the hell out. It's so good.
There's a huge original soundtrack listeners. I mean, Zio, if you listen to audio reviews, there's the main guy, Z Reviews. All he does is listen to original soundtracks and original scores.
I mean, video game music, it's hard to say it's my favorite genre because I don't consider video game music a genre in itself.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is.
It kind of isn't though. That's the problem is the source is all from video games, but I could not say Doom. I could not say Doom is the same as World of Warcraft is the same as Cuphead.
It's the same as Animal Crossing.
But I also wouldn't necessarily listen to just a soundtrack. I just don't. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like an entire.
I listen to a lot of remixes.
Is it genre?
I mean, dude, I know that Halo and fucking Animal Crossing collab.
Oh, they got a soundtrack collab coming?
The KK slider. Friggin' Martin O'Donnell.
No, I don't even know what you guys are talking
No,
about.
that's like that. I don't know. That's just why I can't say, yeah, it's all the same music, because
it's not.
It's vastly different.
It's not even the same. You can't genre it because they are different genres of a same thing.
Yeah, like Cuphead is big band for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, Doom is metal. It's just I would classify it all as one genre that I don't listen to.
If you're gonna go subgenre, it's definitely gent.
Gent?
You've got 8-string basses.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Blast beat drums.
Yeah, neckbeard music.
Absolutely, it's the local music.
Yeah. All right. Nintendo leak of Wii source code, internal documents, and more allegedly leaked. Over 2 terabytes of internal data related to Wii and other consoles has reportedly leaked online. Nintendo appears to have suffered a massive data breach. As summarized by Reset Era, the leak originated on 4chan and contains full source code, design, files, documentation, pretty much everything used to create the Wii. The data was reportedly accessed from the servers of Broadon, a company with Nintendo worked to develop the Wii hardware. So that's pretty fucking insane.
One of the other interesting things is why they chose to use friend codes for the Wii instead of like usernames.
Yeah.
And it's wild that
Go ahead, explain it.
This tweet has it. The friend code. This is from their internal documents. To realize this friend function, 12-digit friend codes are used. At first, there were opinions that instead of 12-digit numbers, freely chosen screen name would be better. Problems with using screen names include a high probability of duplicate screen names. When this happened, multiple reentries are required, conflicts with the simple principle, and it's possible to guess someone's screen name by trying different variations of their actual name. Conflicts with the comfortable principle. So essentially, it
makes sense. That's what the Discord
screen
does.
names would be too confusing for their audience and too cumbersome for the people who didn't get the ones they wanted.
I mean, I don't think that that's quite it. I think that because Nintendo wants to control their online infrastructure so much that any possibility of a duplicate just wouldn't make sense. Just offer them a rotating number that is assigned to them. That way you can't guess someone's screen
and you
name.
Can't be disappointed with your screen name if you don't have one.
There you go. Yeah, that is pretty interesting. So is anything going to come of this leak? Is any sort of...
I mean, the Wii itself, I doubt it. I mean, the Wii is I don't want to say ancient hardware, but it's definitely...
I have a question.
A couple generations removed. And that system was hacked to death. Like, by the time it came out, like, there was so much homebrew on the Wii. People pretty much treated it as a giant emulator.
Yeah. I have a question. Was there a way you could input like any credit card data on the Wii? I don't remember.
Well, in the Wii shop you could. I don't know if you could save it, but I know you could use it because they had DLC. They had an eShop essentially on the Wii. Was it the Wii shop?
Right.
Everyone knows the Wii shop song.
I don't.
True. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do. If you hear it, you'll know it.
If I play, will we get a copyright strike?
Just look up Wii Shop.
It's
Bling.
Nintendo. Yes.
Just look up Wii Shop Bling.
Wii Shop Bling.
Trust.
Oh, they have a Wii Shop channel music 10-hour loop.
So yeah, somebody took the Wii Shop music and put it to Hotline Bling.
Oh, really?
And it works.
Oh, I see it right here. Wow, it has 11 million views.
Yeah.
Let me hear it real quick. Let me see if I can hear it without you guys hearing it. All right, just fuck it. Whatever. Skip it. Okay, so that sucks for Nintendo.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I think it would be different if it was something recent, like the Switch or.
The problem is that it came right after them getting breached before.
Yeah, it's just really bad timing for it. But
was it them being breached or their partner being breached?
I think it was their partner that they worked on being breached, is what it seems like for this.
Yeah.
Oh, for this one?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It was the company they worked with with the Wii on. Apparently they got breached, and that's where this stuff comes from.
And then the one before that was actually Nintendo.
That was Nintendo.
Yeah, that was their database servers. I wonder if there was a link there, if them getting this account was able to them to get into the brought on accounts. Possibly. EA Play Live digital event confirmed 11th June 2020. A lot of people are excited for EA Play Live. They're saying this may be the biggest EA Play Live we've seen yet. Some are saying.
World exclusive.
I'm excited. Let's go, EA. Let's see what you got. Let's see what minor increments you've made to Madden this year.
To say there's so the big new EA digital event, EA Play Live, Football Manager, FIFA, Madden, and that's it.
Can't wait to hear more about Apex Legends.
Oh heck,
I don't think you're gonna hear Apex added, dude. I think it's literally gonna be FIFA and Football Manager, and probably maybe Madden.
And Assassin. Is that EA Ubisoft?
That's Ubisoft.
Is EA involved with?
That's Ubisoft.
They have Jedi Fallen Order, which they just released an expansion for today.
They did the New Game Plus, which looks good.
Yesterday.
Actually, I need to download that.
Yeah, it does look pretty cool. But I want new story. I want more new story. Come on now.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be that Madden single player event from 2 years ago.
The franchise.
You know, I did always want to do a Madden event. I always wanted to see how good I was against real people. But then I realized, you know what? I don't want to do the same play over again.
They do it right in Philly.
They do it, yeah. They do it everywhere.
Yeah, localhost has Madden tournaments.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, Summer Game Fest is Jeff Keighley's season of game announcements and celebrations.
Yeah, friend of the show who just doesn't know it yet, Jeff Keighley.
Yes, that's right. 2020 didn't exactly turn out like we envisioned. The year was supposed to be a lead to the new console generation. Sony even touting hundreds of consumer events in light of its E3 absence. But COVID-19 didn't exactly care about those plans for the year. Enter Summer Game Fest, a 4-month-long season celebrating games that doesn't require travel, hotel reservations, or physical interaction. The event will include announcements, demos, deals, in-game events, and more surprises over the next 4 months.
I wonder how much he worked with, like, Reggie on this. Since remember, like, before a lot of these places started doing digital events, Nintendo had the whole Nintendo Direct. And Keighley and Reggie Fils-Aimé are really close friends. So I wonder how much he went to Reggie and was like, hey, tell me how digital, like, online events work for Nintendo, and I'll see what I can do with this. Because this seems to be all digital.
Yeah, but I mean, he does the Game Awards, and he does that online as well. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's still a live production.
That's a live production, yeah.
Yeah.
That's much different.
Yeah, when you're talking live production and digital events, even if it's streamed only online, it's still a live production.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it looks like it's starting August 24th. No, that's the finale. When is it starting?
Some point in May.
And then it goes to August 24th as the season finale, it says here. So that's kind of interesting.
And it's interesting that he's going to have a developer showcase with former E3 partner and creative director I Am 8-Bit.
Yeah.
Saying that this isn't like the replacement for E3, but definitely E3's absence, this kind of definitely slides in and helps fill.
The Phase 1 lineup, or the lineup for Phase 1.
Phase 1.
2K, Activision, Bandai Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, CD Projekt Red, EA, I can't recognize half those logos, Riot, Square Enix, Steam, Xbox.
I imagine Riot's probably going to be all about Valorant.
And how terrible of a game it is.
I don't even know what Square Enix is showing. WB, probably Injustice if they're doing another one.
They should save CD Projekt Red for last. That's what they should do.
Yeah, Project Red should definitely be last.
Yeah, and on Project Red. Cool. This is gonna be exciting.
I guess I don't get what they're trying to do.
He's trying
just game announcements.
He's trying to make money off of advertising. Yeah. He's trying to make money off advertising, so he's doing.
This. So what's the rest of the show? Like, is it just going to be Keighley sitting there, just like twiddling his thumbs while like wishing fucking Kojima's there?
Yes.
Like,
I was just about to bring up Kojima as well.
He's just gonna be the first thing. He's just gonna sit there and be like, "Welcome to Summer
Game Fest."
Summer Game Fest. I was talking to my good friend Kojima and Reggie, and we were all talking, and I don't know.
And now I am also going to. I am the.
And now I'm in Animal Crossing as a giant robot.
Yeah, like it's a 90-minute show. I'm expecting 85 minutes of every single episode talking about how people don't understand Death Stranding.
Yeah, or him announcing you can play as him in Death Stranding, which I would absolutely enjoy. What do you want from me, dog? Get away from me. Go. EVO 2020 has been canceled. Will be an online event. So all you fighting game fans out there.
That sucks, though.
We now get to see truly how terrible all the netcodes are.
Okay, yes. Here's the good thing.
Bad, dude.
Maybe they will actually fix it. Maybe they will be like, "Wow, this is so bad." And if this ever happens again, we will need to fix
going
our
forward
netcode.
in your games. You gotta roll back netcode.
Am I being too optimistic?
How many of these game studios actually gives money to Evo?
That's a good question.
The only thing I can think of is Arxis definitely does announcements there, and so I assume any company that does announcements there definitely probably helps somewhat financially support it.
So you have one company that might give a shit about Evo, and the rest do not give a shit about Evo.
Bandai Namco, almost primarily Bandai Namco, because they make Tekken.
Well, who pays for it then?
Dragon
Is
Ball
it just
Fighter.
advertisers? Just from advertisers? Sponsors?
I don't know the full team behind Evo, but there's definitely advertisers. There's definitely sponsors. They've held it in Vegas at Mandalay Bay for a couple years now.
Yeah.
I guess my point is, like, it would be cool if it helps fix some of the netcode, but I doubt it because it's not a company sanctioned event. They don't give a shit.
It's not like it's like the Arxis like Dragon Ball Fighters World Tour.
Yeah, it's not BlizzCon where if it looks like a shit show, then Blizzard actually has to fix it. It's not a Valve sanctioned event. It's not anything
it's not like
that.
Capcom Street Fighter World Warrior.
It's a complete third party event. So if it goes bad, they don't really care because they're not making money off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna see a lot. I mean, this thing is like online play, especially if they were gonna do Marvel vs. Capcom 2,
and especially in fighting games.
Yeah, when the preferred way to play those games in a tournament setting is live because there's no frame delay.
It's gonna be awesome.
Connection issues.
I'm gonna enjoy it. I might watch it.
You're gonna have American internet infrastructure with like 300 millisecond ping.
Yeah, versus like Koreans with negative ping. It's going to be amazing.
You're going to hear a lot of, I don't think that was the option he wanted to go for. Might have been a dropped input due to frame delay.
Yeah. Well, you get your Wi-Fi going. Practice on that Wi-Fi, baby. Sony confirms Last of Us Part 2 leaker was not affiliated with Sony or Naughty Dog.
By the way, actually, you just reminded me. Yeah, with the Wi-Fi. Is Smash at EVO this year? Because I think Smash is at EVO this year.
Smash Ultimate is. Melee is not.
Yeah, Smash
Ultimate. So, yeah.
And if Melee was, and if Melee was, it wouldn't be now.
Nope. Get on that Wi-Fi, baby.
Oh, that's gonna be so bad, dude.
Oh,
if I was in the tournament, I would actually only play on Wi-Fi. I would only play on mobile data. Actually, I would hotspot it to my phone.
Hotspot your phone.
Yep, and be like, "Look, this is what we're doing today. Enjoy my frame lag."
0.1 uploads, all I can do.
Yeah, so Leaker was identified as not someone affiliated with Sony or Naughty Dog, which everyone was wondering if it was a disgruntled employee. That's a lot of the reports that we got, but not the case. It was just some guy that was, wanted to get in there and release this stuff, which is unfortunately gonna happen most of the time. I didn't see anything about it.
Whoever it is, they're gonna sue the crap out of them.
I'm just pissed that people. This is what I hate about these leaks. There's people that go and read the leaks and they read the spoilers and then they get upset that the game sucks now. I mean, we've seen this time and time again. You haven't even played the game. You haven't even played the game in the context of the story. Just because you read the script, it doesn't give you the full experience. It's not a book. It's not written like a book where you create detail and context for reading, right? People
like to be reactionary, and they like to be negative because apparently negative cloud is a thing.
Yeah, well, it is. It is. And this has a lesbian love story in there, and I know that feeds into some of that, hatred. And it's unfortunate, but that's something that's pissing me off. I saw a few videos like that where I didn't watch them, but they were visibly upset with the story that they didn't even consume yet. But it's gonna happen, whatever. Yeah, we're also getting a trailer tomorrow, correct? Yes, tomorrow, 5/6. This is from Naughty Dog. I'm excited. Is it gonna be a gameplay trailer? I hope so. New trailer, 5/6/20.
Not part of the summer spring series bullshit of Keighley.
No, it's not part of it. We probably will get some part of it though during that spring series. It's gonna be.
Dude, they're gonna talk after it's announced. They'll talk about it like, shit, dude. See what Death Stranding inspired?
I can't wait for this game. We got one more month of waiting, and then we'll be able to enjoy it. So, the Assassin's Creed Valhalla will keep RPG elements, but will reduce the grinding, which I never found Assassin's Creed to be very grindy, if you ask me. It's not quite a grindy
Apparently
game.
the last one that came out,
the last one was great.
There were some complaints in Odyssey that it was a bit grindy, but I didn't play it, but that's what I've heard. But I like the fact that I think going to the RPG elements is a nice change. And this game is going to get, because of where the setting is, it's going to get compared to God of War.
Yeah.
But I don't...
Another super grindy game.
Yeah.
If you want to do the super bosses a little bit.
You ever play Path of Exile?
Yeah, compared to like what I consider grind.
You ever play any JRPG?
Like sleeping.
Have you ever played Persona?
You ever played fucking Pokemon?
I'll put it this way: if Animal Crossing requires more grinding
Thank you
than
for the
your
cheer,
game, your game is not grindy.
Yeah, I'm not playing Animal Crossing.
I'm excited. I thought Assassin's Creed Odyssey was fantastic. I am very excited to see this one, especially since we're getting a pretty damn cool setting. I mean, I like the Roman setting, but
so at
this
this
is
point
cool
in
too.
Assassin's Creed, I haven't played in a long time. I think the last one I played was 3, and I hated it. Did they just drop the entire like real world or like present
Sort
day
of
storyline?
Not really, but sort of. It's not much of a presence as it used to be, but it's still there.
Right, that was like the only what?
It's still there, but it's not really at the same time. Yeah.
That was like the entire point of the
worth
original games, though. I thought like
was.
there supposed to be this grand conspiracy that seemed somewhat interesting to like actually get you to play this stupid game.
No, it's not there anymore.
This guy is the guy because his ancestors were this long line of assassins, and then it kind of just became, oh hey, we can just see everybody's past, and everybody apparently has an assassin in their line.
Yeah, so the last one, it kind of plays a role, but you really are playing the role of I forget her name, and then that's it really. And some elements lead up to it, but it's not like it used to be. And I'm assuming this is going to be the same way. It's going to be basically a story of, Valhalla and what's going on there. But I'm very excited. I mean, the last one, the Odyssey, the map, if you haven't played it, the map is fucking magnificent. It's so big. You get to sail the seas and get to raid coasts, and it actually feels like it. It's crazy how big they made that fucking world and how detailed it is. Almost Witcher 3 level scale. Almost there. And I'm excited to see what they do with this Viking age and being able to implement all that stuff. I kind of wish there was more RPG elements and a little bit more grinding, but it looks like they're going to go the opposite and make it a little bit more arcadey, which is whatever. It's just a fun little game. Hopefully it's on Games Pass. Finally, new Battlefield game confirmed for 2021 release by EA and DICE. So what is this? Are we getting a Battlefield 1942 remake? Is that what's going on here?
I have no idea.
Team at DICE is working on a standalone Battlefield 5 update releasing this summer and continuing their work on delivering community games, while the studio's vision for Star Wars Battlefront 2 is now complete with this week's The Battle on Scarif update, the server's in-game challenges, blah, blah, blah. Let's see here.
It's not going to be... So apparently the initial word was it shouldn't be expected until 2022. But apparently they're moving that... moving that up to 2021.
Yeah.
But with Battlefront 2 being done and with the end of Battlefield 5 coming up, I guess it makes sense that they're putting their time and effort now into a new Battlefield.
Let's get a 1942.
I feel like Battlefield 5 kind of just lost.
I think if they're moving it up that high fast too, though, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like that. What was like immediately after Battlefield 4 with like the cops and robbers bullshit?
Oh right.
Or maybe there was that after 3. There was like that like
I know what you're talking about.
Half game Hardline.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that was it Battlefield Hardline or Battlefront Hardline?
It was something like that though. Like that's kind of what I would expect if they're bumping it up by an entire year.
Yeah, you're right. Battlefield Hardline. Yeah, that was the one.
Was that the one that they made that had like the trailer where it's like the planes and it's like, oh, the whole building's collapsing. Look, destructible environment.
No, that was 3.
That was 3. Okay, I lost track on these.
Yeah, but I mean,
dude,
dude,
that might have even been Bad Company 2.
I can tell you right now, I would love it if I never see another trailer in my life where it's real gameplay. Breaker, I'm setting the charges. Well, like nobody plays like that.
I do.
Nobody plays like it's a real mission.
I do. Well, that's what I kind of like the idea of Battlefield 5, just because they were finally realizing, hey, none of this is realistic.
Yeah.
But women in World War I.
Dude.
Fucking hate this.
I love the Battlefield series. I don't take it too seriously. I think it's just a fun little shooter. And I do think, I don't know, maybe we'll
if you're not serious, just go play Postscriptum or something like that.
Or go play Valorant.
There's a good amount of no. Don't play Valorant. Don't do that to yourself.
No, yeah, I mean like, it's just not.
I want a new Red Orchestra, dude. That's what.
That would be great. That would be great. I like the battle. I was in love with Battlefield 1942. I played so many hours of that when that was first released. Then Battlefield
that could
Vietnam.
Be an option, just because they now have the World War II engine.
Yeah, I would love to
have the assets.
I would love to go back there.
That is almost what I'm expecting. Is not necessarily 42, but like 42-ish. Or just with the things already done in a hardline style.
I'm just saying, when's the Medal of Honor Battle Royale?
When are we gonna get
never,
Battlefield Vietnam remake? That's what I want. Update Vietnam. That was the best Battlefield. Jungle Warfare.
That was pretty decent. Yeah,
I love that one. And then you had the Desert Storm mod that came along off of the.
I
Vietnam
remember
one.
the Desert Storm mod more than I remember
that, or your remake Bad Company 2 remake.
Yeah, Bad Company was great.
Bad Company 3.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think we're gonna get more of Battlefield 5 and Battlefield World War II. Which one is that?
5. 1942, 1943.
Yeah. I think we're just gonna get more of like a Battlefield 5. If they're moving the date up, they're not gonna change it too much.
Yeah, I remember. God,
so the first one was 42.
Yeah. When was Battlefield 1945? 45.
1942, you mean?
It might have been 42. I just remember
it was 42, and then they did 43, and then they did 2. I'm pretty sure.
I just remember my uncle playing it like, God, it must have been.
It was the best, dude.
It was early 2000s.
That might have been 15 years ago then.
Yeah, no, it was early 2000s because Battlefield 2 was like 2002 or something around there.
Battlefield 1942
was Battlefield 2.
Battlefield 1942 came out in 2002.
Okay, that makes sense. My uncle was a huge FPS gamer.
That and CS 1.6, and getting the graphics card. I remember it was a day of
Battlefield 2 was the first game I ever bought that I could not play without upgrading the computer.
It was amazing. And then just like storming the beaches of Normandy with all these players shooting at each other in real time was something that we've not seen before. And it was fucking incredible. It was incredible with vehicles and stuff. I mean, you had all of that when that game was released. So good. I would love to go back there. That's a remake that I'm 100% for. All right, that's it for gaming news. We got a couple of things in tech. Actually, we got one thing in tech, but I do have a little interesting thing here from The Verge. If you haven't seen this, so this is an augmented reality app that cuts and pastes. So you can take a picture of something somewhere and then paste it into a document. That's what this person does. Check this out. It's pretty interesting. It takes a picture of this plant. Click. It takes it out, puts it in this document. Bloop. Prints it right in there. That's fucking cool, man. Imagine that. I don't know how this technology works at all. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe this is just like a tech demo or something. We don't really know too much about it. But shit, that is something that could be super useful. I would love that. There you go. There's the sweater. Add that in there. Do a little print. I mean, that would make my life so much easier when I do these flavoring updates. That would be sick. Okay. And then we have some news from Tweaktown, which you should take with a grain of salt because
a large grain of salt because it's already been proven false like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, do you have any updates? Send me some updates.
No, there's not really a lot of updates other than that was kind of proven false. And then this article from Tweaktown, of course, is bullshit because also the other article after it was then saying the 3070 is 5% slower than the 2080 Ti, so the 3060 is not faster than it.
Yeah, because this is saying that...
and that was also false.
They're saying that this is this just has better specs than the 3080 or the 2080 Ti, which would be the 3060, which would come in at what? A $250 card? $350?
Yeah, remember the 60 line is not $350.
Yeah, let me see. Where did you see this other article at? It probably has more updated news. This is from a couple days ago. Let me see if we can find it.
No, because that screenshot's been around for a while. There's multiple articles about it, especially from other, but it's all in rumor world where all of them are fake and calling each other out for being fake.
Yeah, you never want to take anything like this with a grain of salt, just because it's always subject to change. They're always wrong. This is not like camera rumors, which are easy to kind of find out and predict just because the industry is so tiny.
Well, this is also easy to predict that, a $350 graphics card is not going to beat a $1,200 graphics card from a month before it.
Yeah.
Like NVIDIA, and especially from NVIDIA, like, is it going to be better? Yes. Does NVIDIA want the new series to be better after how poor the 20 series has been in reference to raw performance versus the 10 series? Yes, they want that to be a lot better, especially because AMD's trying to slowly finally catch up, and they're actually doing that. But it's not going to be 3060s beating a 2080 Ti now.
No, that would completely divulge any of their...
They're talking about like a 30%, so maybe 40% on the top end improvements, not in a 3060 to a 2080 Ti would be like a fucking 80% to 70% improvement.
Yeah. We also have
the thing to hope for is, can the 3060 beat the 2070 Super? That's what you want to hope for.
From what we've been seeing with
the Super
Ampere,
to beat the 2080 Super. You want the 3080 Super to beat the 2080 Ti. You know what I mean? That's what you're hoping for.
From what we're seeing with Ampere so far, it's looking like it's going to be a nice little performance jump. It
looks like a good 30%. Yeah. Like it's nothing to laugh at. It's just not also, don't blow it out of proportion to 3060 beating 2080 Ti.
Yeah, that's insanity. But we also got this. We got a couple of other news that I forgot to mention. So there's also these like Ampere NVIDIA full systems, these DGX systems, and it's looking like they're setting to put these like full systems together, I guess, for workstations and for cloud computing or machine learning computing, which is pretty interesting. And then
that'd be cool. Like we got about a week and a half till their conference, and I'm very interested in it, especially on the programming data science side. Like, it sounds like they're doing some really cool stuff, but their consumer graphics, I'm thinking 30%, and 30% is a big increase.
Yeah, we really need AMD to step up their game and really compete with NVIDIA on the consumer side.
I think that's why they're even going to go to 30%, because when it comes down to it, a 5700 and a 5700 XT is like 15% faster on average at the same price point. Like, they have to come out 30% better.
Yeah. And then we also got...
AMD is competing at the price points that actually matter.
And then we also got Intel, which this was interesting. This was released by released by Jim Keller, which is the senior VP in tech. And he posted this die and says it's the father of all GPUs. But they actually said it in some Indian language.
Said it in Hindu. He said Bap, which translates to father.
Bop. The bop is all. Bop of all is back.
Yeah, it's just a giant data center GPU that's probably going to actually perform like shit for its size.
I'm curious. It looks like Intel is really starting to step up their graphics unit, which they've always sort of lacked on.
I mean, they are, but it's one of those things where it's going to take them years to catch. It's going to take them years to catch up to where AMD was 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna make some headway into data services because they're Intel, and people still have an ungodly bias towards Intel, especially in server world. But like, I'm not expecting it to actually be good personally.
Yeah, I'm not expecting it to even be a thing that you can probably buy.
No,
unless you're an enterprise.
Not for a while. But like the other point and the biggest argument, an easy argument, is that's looking like the size of GPU they have to make to be able to compete with the new NVIDIA card.
Yeah.
Which is going to be on a die like this big, by the way.
Yeah. I want NVIDIA to step up. I want them to have their internal graphics processors to be somewhat comparable to like more budget-centered cards. Just right now, they're just not. Even with the latest 10th gen jump, they're just not there yet. And, you know, it makes... I mean, imagine like you don't need a discrete GPU in a laptop. You know what I mean? And then you can actually just run it off the CPU and the APU. It would be very nice because then you wouldn't have to worry too much about the flexibility of your machines opens up. Where we have to... If you're lacking a discrete GPU... You know, you're missing out on so much performance, especially nowadays where so much is relied upon. It's not just, raw gaming power. You need it for any sort of encoding. You need it for any sort of streaming. There's just so much now that the GPU is utilized for. And Intel's graphics units are just not, they just haven't been up to snuff quite yet. And that's pretty much it. That's all the news that we have in tech, unless we're missing something.
Oh, and then the MacBook that you shouldn't buy.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's talk about that. So a Mac came out. I did a video yesterday.
I did, and I finally watched it. I started messaging you before I watched it, but you kind of nailed it to an extent. So yeah, except for the low end, you didn't mention much on the low end, which I think is where it's most appalling, to be honest. But
well, I didn't mention the low end because it's not quite an up.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the new keyboard, which is nice. Good on the new keyboard. The rest of it's absolute shit to your own product stack.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So if we look at their new MacBook 13 line, you're still getting the quad core 8th gen. You're still getting, DDR3, 8 gigabytes, 2133 megahertz, low powered RAM. You're now getting a little bump in storage at 256. Woohoo! You do get the P3 display, but you lack the extra 2 ports, and you're at $1,300, which when we take a look, and it's the 8th gen chip, we take a look at the Air. I mean, it just makes the Air a much more compelling option at a lower price point when you compare it to that lower end 13-inch MacBook. You're not getting that extra graphics jump from the 10th gen chips either.
You can spec up the Air to be very comparable to the $1,800 MacBook for $1,400.
Yeah. So we take a look at the Air, just the base. We'll take a look at the base Air.
If you just make it 16 gigs of RAM and a half a terabyte hard drive with the i5, it's 14 I think. 15 maybe. Yeah, it's a $300 price difference.
I mean, you're also getting a much faster RAM,
which matters a lot to how good these mobile processors work, actually, and also the amount of RAM matters quite a bit too.
Yeah, especially when that's all you basically are running off of is your raw CPU power and your memory. You're not utilizing any graphics power, so you want at least your memory and your CPU power to be somewhat adequate.
Now, if you have to do heavier workloads, I would say bumping up to the U series is usually a good idea, but I wouldn't buy this year's. I would just buy a cheaper MacBook Air and use it for a year, sell it, and then buy a better one next year if you absolutely need CPU horsepower.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And that's kind of the point I was making, is just that I would skip the 13-inch in general, basically. You go with the Air if you want want a nice new keyboard and you want
if you need a new laptop, buy a cheap Air and then sell it, do it again next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And if you need something with a little bit more power, you have to go you go 16-inch because you're going to get so much more performance for the money. Because the MacBook Pro 13 is just priced so oddly. It's just the pricing, it just fits in this area. It looks like they're just gearing up for their ARM-based laptops. So once that's released, that's going to render these useless. The graphics power in their ARM-based, I mean, the iPad Pro is probably more powerful than the base MacBook 13. You know what I mean? Especially considering it's using the 8th gen chips. It's using 8 gigabytes of RAM, low power DDR3 RAM, and that's it. That's all you're getting. You're not getting any graphics utilization other than what's on the Intel 8th gen chips, which is basically nothing. You might as well just wait for them to go to ARM or bump it up to the 16-inch.
It's buy a 16 or buy a MacBook Air, in my opinion. And I'm probably going to go MacBook Air because I also have a nice desktop right here, so I don't have to rely only on my laptop.
Right.
And if you're going to rely only on your laptop, buy the 16.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, you can buy the 13, but if you care about price or performance per dollar, which you should, because that's how capitalism works, I want to buy it.
I would only buy the 13-inch $1,800 option with 30. I would only buy the 13-inch $1,800 option if I was in audio production and I wanted to stay more mobile than the 16-inch. If you like, because the 13-inch form factor is perfect. That's the form factor we like.
That's why I'm pissed. Bad.
It's such a great form factor. Imagine they slimmed those bezels down. They made it that 14-inch that we all wanted. They introduced the 10th gen into their base model. They allowed you to really kind of spec this out. They offer you the lower end AMD Radeon discrete GPUs just to give you a little extra graphics horsepower. And then, then the $1,800 14-inch MacBook Pro looks a lot more appealing. And then if you needed that more extra jump, you needed those extra 4 cores, then you can jump to the 16-inch octa-core chips. But right here, it's just like, what exactly are you getting? Look at what Razer is offering, right? When you look at the Razer 13-inch Stealth, that comes with a discrete GPU, that comes with the i7, that comes with 512 gigabytes stock. You're just getting so much more performance. You're getting the 1650 Ti discrete GPU in there. You're just getting a lot more for that same amount of money. And then against the Dell is just a cheaper option. You just got the 10th gen chips at a cheaper option. And I believe they are U-based chips on the Dell. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think they're the Y-based chips, but I could be wrong. But what is up with this website, Razer? What are you guys doing? Just make a normal website, please. So here's the Stealth, and for $1,800, which has actually got a price cut, 1650 Ti, full HD, 120 hertz screen, 10th gen Intel i7, 512 gigabytes SSD storage. They fixed the keyboard so the shift button's not all fucked up. It is an aluminum unibody machine, so you do get a nice, you get a nice build quality too. It's not as thin, or light, but you're getting so much more power I shouldn't say so much more, but you're getting a good amount more power compared to the $1,800 you would spend on the 13-inch MacBook. So it's just priced.
I will
terribly.
say, if you're going off of Geekbench, the old i7 from 8th gen, which is better than the i5 from 8th gen, is barely better than that Y series chip. And single core, that Y series chip scored higher on Geekbench. The multi-core score was like 500 more. Mm-hmm. So you're not even getting a CPU upgrade unless you spend the 1,800, honestly.
Yeah, that was what I was saying too. You basically have to spend 1,800 for this to be a true upgrade, which is unfortunate.
That 8th gen chip is basically the 10th gen Y series, that's how much Y series has improved, honestly.
Yeah. And is $1,800. It's nice having 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports. It's nice having the P3 display. That's all you get.
True, but at that point too, you can, if you don't need the P3 display and 2 extra Thunderbolt ports, which honestly you really don't need, you save
$1,000. When you say
well, no, yeah, that's right. Because you don't even need that because the cheap ones don't even come. They only come with 2, so you're not even getting Thunderbolt ports. You're getting if you don't need the P3 display, you can get the MacBook Air, which CPU wise now is exactly the same as that 8th Gen i5, and you can also get it with 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 gigabyte hard drive for the basically same price.
And
as
the base models,
MacBook Pro.
the base model Airs come with the faster RAM as well. Yeah. They come with faster RAM than the baseline Mac. It looks like they don't even care about that baseline 13-inch. They just were
and you can get 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 gigabyte hard drive for the same fucking price, basically.
Yeah.
Instead of a 256 8 gig.
Yeah.
Basically the same CPU. So, yeah, that's a hard choice, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think that they were just like, let's throw a new keyboard in there. Let's put the new Intel chips in there.
I think they were just protecting the Air, honestly. I think they actually because I've been raving about the Air. They made the Air good again. I think they didn't want to galvanize the Air.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think they care about the 13-inch. They're waiting for this ARM laptop to come through, and they were just like, let's just minor update on the 13-inch. The 16-inch is a powerhouse. The Air is a great ultra light. So it leaves a 13-inch in this weird spot that is just not worth the money. And that's what Apple likes to do because they can. Some people will buy that. They won't do the research. They'll get the 13-inch Pro because that's the one that they got before. They'll get a nice new keyboard. They'll say, wow, this is really nice. And then everything's happy.
If you can get education discount, you can literally get the MacBook Air that's literally going to perform the exact same as the base 13-inch for $900 right now.
Yeah, well, you are still getting the dual core on the base model.
Oh, true. You'd have to bump it up to 1,000, to get the i5. You're right.
Yeah.
So if you spend $1,000, you're still going to get 8.8 and then 128 instead of 256. If you add up another $50, so for $250 less, you can match literally spec for spec, other than the screen.
Yeah, it's $1,100 for a 256, 8 gigabytes on the R4 memory, and then the quad core chip. You're saving like $1,000 almost if you add in tax, not
1,000. No, that's to the base model, not the top end. The top end, no. If you go for the top end chip, you're gonna get a lot more performance.
Yeah.
If you're going for the 1800, you are going to get more performance.
But then you're running into that money where you can spend it on a 16-inch and get much more performance for minimal amount. It's just they fucked up the pricing. They don't care about it. It's
just buy the $1,100. It's $1,100 MacBook Pro or the $1,100 MacBook Air is basically the same thing as the $1,300 MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Before discounts and stuff.
We're all pissed that they didn't do the 14-inch MacBook Pro with the 10th gen chip because that would be fucking awesome. At like $1,400. It would be killing. It'd be
a perfect laptop.
But
that's why I'm salty. So I'm just gonna buy a MacBook Air.
Yeah. And the MacBook Air is great too. I mean, they did do a good release on that. It's just I wish they put the P3 on the MacBook Air. That would make. I mean, I would pay an extra $100 for the P3 display. $1,200 for this laptop. You basically have what I want in the Pro. You basically have what I want in the MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
At a little bit of a cheaper price.
Now, yeah, that is fair to say because I do want to see how good the Air screen is.
Right. I don't know what it looks like.
The Air looks nicer because they didn't shrink the bezels, so the Air's the one with the cute, good, nice size bezels.
Yeah, and it's thinner. It does have the Air design. I mean, those Air laptops are nothing to scoff at. They are so nice to hold.
And it's a new keyboard that's not going to break on you, and actually is nice to type on.
Yeah.
I mean, they both have that now, thank God. But I'm definitely on Team Air for some reason.
Yeah. No, there's no point to be on Team 13-inch anymore. Not right now. I am excited to see what Apple is coming out with. We got some Apple stuff coming soon, so I want to see what these new phones are like. I'm almost time to upgrade my phone. I want to see what these new iPads, these new iMacs. I would like to replace that iMac behind me with a nice sort of base model iMac with some nice specs in there for like $1,000, $1,200. But that's it. That's it for the show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a like Also, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Tune in every Tuesday, 6:30, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or on Spotify. Subscribe everywhere. We'll catch y'all later. Peace!